Hello, everybody. Welcome to another day of Skills Not Pills. And we've got our expert, Jeff Caliguire, here with us today. And we are learning today about no complaining and how that's important for us. It's an important skill. Is that correct, Jeff? I know it is. I don't even need to ask you that one.
Good.
I'm so good at complaining.
Well, wait a second. You're breaking up. Were you saying
Oh,
something here?
yeah, now I can see. Okay, great. We're
Okay,
there, we're live. My
awesome.
internet got unstable for just a second, but now we're good.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this conversation with you because, of course, ever since you brought this up to me the other day, I'm witnessing all the ways that my mind complains. So
Amazing.
I knew we were going to talk about this. So tell us a little bit about your no complaint. Well, first of all, this is Jeff Caliguire, people. He's awesome. He's a wonderful human being. He's a former pastor, and he helps people, coaches people with money, convergent point wealth advisors, and also with purpose, finding your purpose in life, because finding your purpose in life is one great way to, bring a lot of positivity into your life. Right, Jeff?
You got it, Kerri. Yeah, I mean, it is, for me, it's part of how, how your pain can become your passion. And for me, the reason I'm so passionate about helping people with things like purpose and not complaining is because I spent a long time really being ignorant of what I was doing to my own life by, one, not knowing that I had a purpose and how to find it, and then also making complaining just like something I thought was normal. I thought like that was okay for me. I think it's kind of like people smoking. You watch movies from people a long time ago and you see them smoking, you're going, no, don't do it. And if you were to get a movie of me, you'd say, stop complaining. You don't know what it's doing to you.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I leaned back. It's funny because you kind of realize when you start paying attention to anything, like you become aware of something, then you can't stop becoming aware of it. So, ever since we had that conversation the other day, and I already made that internal decision that I'm going to play with you on your no complaining challenge, which I'm going to let you talk about. All of a sudden I'm really aware, like I'm really aware every single time my mind wants to complain. So this morning, I just posted a little bit ago, the tree trimmers were here for the city, right? So they come along the neighborhood and they bring their saws and they hack off limbs from your trees, because they've got this mission to clear the street of all tree material so that I don't know, I guess the trucks can come through. We live in a neighborhood. There really aren't any trucks here. I guess if the fire truck happened to need to come, then maybe the little branches on my tree could get in the way of that. So I've been really upset about it for the last hour, and feeling for my tree. So I've reached this level of consciousness now that I can feel things like that happening.
Mm,
I feel the effect of it on the tree. Like I'm aware. I've reached a level of awareness. I know that tree is alive. Like it's
mm.
not just a thing. It's alive. It's a consciousness. It's a being. And it just got like arms and legs chopped off,
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
ow, like, so
Don't let it happen to you.
after they
Yeah,
left, I mean, okay, I found myself, with great power comes great responsibility. I know you've heard this.
sure.
And I felt myself like feeling angry. And like I felt this volume of psychic energy like radiating out at me. And I was like directing it in the direction of the people that were trimming the trees. Like, oh, how can you do this?
Mm.
And I was like, wow, Kerri, that is a misuse of power, So this is a really interesting topic to explore. Like, how can you have real feelings, right? I've got real feelings for those trees. Like, I have real feelings for those trees. Those are real. I'm not going to ignore that.
Right.
But how do you not complain? Like, how do you not get angry? How do you not,
Yeah.
something like
Well,
that happens is an injustice and you're aware of it. How do you deal with
yeah,
that?
Yeah, I actually literally wrote on my page today that what's the difference between being real and complaining. And so, speaking the truth is important. The issue is really, why are we doing it, right? So, I mean, no, going back to the beginning here, why complaining is terrible for you and terrible for others around us is because it brings negative energy into us and through us, right? And and that's why I'm saying it's like it makes smoking look, not so bad. It makes sitting all day look not so bad. When we realize what we're doing inside of our heads and our bodies when we're complaining, we're allowing fear, negativity to just become part of us. And often we don't even realize it, Kerri. We just allow that to be our way of
It's
life.
just like the pot simmering underneath. It's like
Yes,
constantly on a simmer.
yes. So yes, learning to hear yourself is number one. Am I complaining? Is a question. Is this complaining or is this truth and justice? Because we wouldn't want everyone to go, well, I'm never going to complain, and thus I'm not going to be having truth and justice. There's something in the Bible that talks about maturity as speaking the truth in love. And speaking the truth is good. The question is, are you doing it in love?
Mm.
Are you bringing this out because I love my spouse or because I want to whine to my spouse? Am I bringing this out because I love the trees and I love the tree guy, or because I want to be negative and angry and I wish life was better? So that's why, I mean, stepping back a year, Kerri, I did a complaining fast for 40 days last spring. And I mean, number one, the first few days, you start going, oh my gosh, I can't believe how many times I think of complaints. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I've
you
been
start
right
being
there.
aware. Number two is, I don't need to give into this. I can change the way I'm thinking, and I have the ability to not say something, and I can hear it and go, oh, that's a complaint, zip it. Okay. It's better for you. It's better for your marriage. And, clearly you want to still be real with people. But when it's complaining, it is damaging your body. It's bringing high blood pressure. It's bringing literal changes to your brain. And you don't need to do it. You can become freer. But the start is, I'm not going to complain.
So, okay, let's explore an example. So, one thing that happens frequently, I don't know if this happens to anybody out there, but I can't find a pen. Like I need a pen and I can't find one, right? So I like to leave a pen on the kitchen counter next to the Post-it pad, because when I get an inspiration or I need to write something down, if I have to go search for a pen, like it's lost already. Like I need to be able to have that pen handy so I can write that thing down. Pens are constantly disappearing from the kitchen counter. What is up with that? They just go, they disappear.
It's your spiritual growth impetus,
And they
Kerri.
keep
It's like
ending
somebody's out there saying, I want to grow Kerri Hummingbird.
they keep ending up in the drawer or someplace else. And I have plenty of pens, right? So I said, okay, I'm not going to complain about the pen, right? So what I'm going to, because I was aware of my desire to complain, like how come I never have a pen and da da da. So I just made a little note. I took a Post-it and I made a note and I said, requests with a heart.
Yes. Much better way to do it.
I
So
would
play
like a pen
play
to
it out. What if you
always
had
get
gone on a rant and complained? What good would that have done?
it would have put people on the defensive, like it wasn't me, I didn't do that, it wasn't me,
Yeah.
right? And so it was like it creates this sort of who done it, and then we're like
It puts everybody else on the defensive. Now there's an argument over a pen.
putting a
A
camera
50
in the
cent
kitchen to
pen.
see what people are really doing with the pens.
Yes. Yes. So I mean that's a great example, to go, all right, if I complain about it, what will it do? Will it do good, or will it basically create more stress, more anxiety, more bad energy? Or will me deciding, okay, I'm going to write a heart and just ask a question, I'm still going to address the issue, but I'm not going to complain. And those are the habits, those are the disciplines that are so possible for us if we're open to it. And that's why I've now asked people, and it's amazing, Kerri. I mean, I put this out to not that many people, and within a day, 75 people had said, I'm in. I want to be a part of this no complaining fast, or this complaining fast for the month of March. And I've loved seeing their wins and how people are becoming aware. And it's like, I feel like I'm getting to be a part of changing just a little bit of the world by having people join me in this.
I think it's a great idea. And because I'm really convinced that a lot of people's, at least, you know, a lot of my journey has been about psychological issues, right? Psychological, emotional issues. And a
Yes.
lot of those have to do with cultivating awareness. If you want to resolve that, you've got to cultivate awareness into what you're thinking and what you're doing. And when we're not aware of that constant simmer of dissatisfaction, you know, that just sort of, it just
We
simmers.
can't be happy and dissatisfied at the same time,
It
right?
simmers in the field. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just
Yes.
like the boiling stew of toxic hoocha, you know, and you're
Oh boy, way to describe it. Perfect. The toxic stew of boiling hooch.
boiling hoocha, you know, and
Uh-huh.
it's just like under the surface. And then one more thing happens and you're like, see, this
Yes.
sucks, you know, like you're just, you could easily just spiral down and like eat a
Yes.
whole bowl of that stuff.
Yeah. Have you ever heard don't believe everything you think?
Yes, I say that all the time. I'm constantly saying that.
And so I mean, it's not like we go on a complaining fast and thus our brains don't come up with things to complain about. The issue is, will I believe it, and will I allow it to simmer and stew and create the toxic hoocha, or will I stop it and certainly not speak it out of my mouth? It's so funny to watch my wife's response to this complaining fast. Number one, Kerri, when I told her that I was going to be doing it, she said, "Oh, I'm so glad. I was hoping you were going to do that." So that means two things. One, she noticed that it wasn't as good when I wasn't doing the complaining fast. And number two, she realized that there was something to it changing me that she wanted more of. And I think what happens in marriages and in relationships is we start complaining, almost thinking we're just being real. You know, I'm just saying, hey, I hate doing the taxes, or, you know, whatever we come up with. I hate the weather here. And it becomes this thing that we just think we're sharing our own reality when we're creating toxin. You know, we're bringing negative energy through us into them, and now it's like they're holding it. We've just dumped on them, and now they've got this little piece of garbage.
Yeah. Well, it also is kind of like what you resist persists. I've been experiencing a lot of that lesson in my life. You know, what you resist persists. And if you can, I just recently was talking with another one of our experts on the summit, having to do with mastery systems and conscious language, and about how we can dissolve the energy, dissolve the energy of something continuously coming to us that we don't like, by dissolving the don't like it part. Like if we dissolve the resistance, like we just like, oh well, okay, I don't like this. Well, if we could switch and be like, well, I like it actually. There's a reason why I like it, and as I keep saying I like it, then the reason starts to come to me why I do like it, because maybe I'm learning something from it. It's sort of like the things that you experience that you resist, that you think are horrible, and you make this snap judgment like, this is awful, like my bathroom's exploding, right?
Oh,
That's, to think that's terrible.
yeah.
Actually, though, it's a realignment. Now I'm in the space of, oh, that was a realignment, and Spirit just gifted me 3 brand new bathrooms and the opportunity to change out the flooring in all of my bedrooms. Isn't
Yeah.
that amazing?
Yeah. So there's something in the Bible that this applies to all of us, and it just says simply, give thanks in all things. Okay. And I think I can almost hear, you know, God say, what part of all things don't you hear? You know, like what doesn't make sense about that? And it becomes so difficult for us to give thanks in the areas where we have exploding bathrooms and problems like you're talking about. And yet almost do it as an experiment. That's why I'd encourage you to join this complaining fast and go, all right, I'm not going to whine about the pen not being there. I'm going to give thanks that somehow this is going to create a better way to communicate with my kids or something. And I don't even know, but I am going to give thanks. And that's where gratitude is the other side of complaining. It's like we've got a number one note when we do it, and then replace it with gratitude. And I know that, I was a football player. We didn't talk about those things in the locker room. And yet that makes for winning teams. Hey, we muffed up that play. We're going to score next time. I'm grateful that we learned that by losing this game. And so, gratitude matters in the boardroom. Gratitude matters in marriages. It matters on football fields. And it is probably the most relevant discipline that we never learned in school, Kerri. You didn't take a class on it, and yet that can change a business. It can change a marriage. And it's just that concept of, I'm going to be grateful. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to be grateful.
And I'm going to be grateful for what this challenge is calling me to the next level, or what it's inviting me to do. Like just take the trees this morning. I realized in the course of actually even before our conversation started, it started sinking in, because I'm pretty good at receiving the messages now. I have less resistance because I always know there's a reason why the thing is happening. And I like, oh, this is something I can educate people about that they may not know, like, because maybe they haven't reached the state of awareness that they know that all things are actually alive and conscious. Like, they might not know that. And wouldn't that be kind of a really wonderful thing to realize?
Perfect example. Mm-hmm.
That's a wonderful thing for people to realize, that, the tree is real. It's a consciousness, and
Yeah.
it's alive, just like you and me. And that's a wonderful message to share,
Yes.
It raises everybody.
Yeah. So maybe the question is, all right, I want to complain about this. Stop, right? Halt. Now, what good can I see in this that I might not see had I not been paying attention? Is there something good here, and how can I turn it to the good, or zip it, right? Don't say anything. Sometimes the best thing we can do is just zip it.
That's why I have this practice of blowing things into a stone. Because if I've got something and I'm like, man, it has to get out of me, like, somehow, then I'll just pick up a stone. I'll ask for, can you help me? I'll ask permission.
That fourth stone.
And I'll just go, okay, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. I love you. Okay, now I'm putting you on the earth and letting you mulch.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to figure it out. Because don't believe what you think. We're back to that. Don't believe what you think. You might not understand why the thing is happening.
Yep. So, Kerri, the average person complains 30 times a day.
Wow.
Okay? 30 times a day. And that's actually saying it out of their mouth. And so
there's a lot they're holding back.
There's a lot they're holding back, but so they've got some self-consciousness or discipline, but especially the business communities in workplaces, it festers and it grows and it creates a toxic environment. And so I've had people say, what do I do if everyone in my business place is complaining? And that's where you have a choice, number one, to not join in. Okay, you don't need to join, but by you just slowly, okay, you don't bring judgment and, hey, we shouldn't complain, but slowly turning things to positive over time, you can change the whole culture of that business. But there's some people, you're going to start listening to this and go, oh my gosh, that's Dan. That's, Mary in accounting. And so then you've got to not complain about them. Don't complain about the complainers. Just let it start with you.
So tempting.
Yeah, it is tempting because, you meet someone in the elevator and they'll say, oh man, it's so cold today. It's like, that's how we meet each other. We've created a culture where complaining is actually relationship. And there's really a better way, and that's where the positive energy of saying positive, good things can change a culture. So that's where I want to invite, you guys to join this commitment to not complain and be a part of this complaining fast for the month of March.
And I want to invite you to do it as well. I invite you to sign up for it. We're going to give you the details. But I also want to invite you to call on your allies, to
Yeah,
realize that you don't have to
yeah,
do this alone. So
that's the best part of it.
call on your allies, for me, the stones, right? So you can go get a nice big hunk of rose quartz and put that in your office.
Yeah,
That will help.
and your allies can also be, a couple friends or your
Yeah.
spouse.
It could be
Come,
your
come, and let's do
conversations
this
with God.
together. Hold me accountable. And I've had people that I've been coaching who, they tell their spouse, which I think is a like high level 501, and they say, if you hear me complaining, would you let me know?
Wow,
And
that's a brave thing to ask
very
your spouse
brave,
to do.
very brave. I haven't gotten there yet, but
It's
actually
better to
this
have a group.
morning,
I think it's better to have a group like this remind
yes,
you, like an
this
ally that's not married to you.
this morning, my wife Mindy said, I want to send you this podcast that I think relates to your complaining fast. And I said, awesome. I said, I hate that fast. And she said, was that complaining? I said, I was kidding.
But it's a great, and I love too the way you're saying that, because you're the leader of this thing, right? And what you just did was gave people permission that they're gonna do it without realizing it. They're gonna complain. Don't
Yeah.
think that you're gonna start this and not complain.
Oh, you'll
That's
just
not the
hear
point.
it and you'll go, oh, stop it. But hit restart.
The point is to become aware of it,
Yes.
which and also clue, this is a great time to pull out your self-soothing techniques, because any kind of awareness practice is going to get a little uncomfortable as you become aware, but you got to have the awareness in order to shift the pattern. So bring yourself lots of nurturing. Don't judge the nurturing, let it happen. Bring more of it, because you just need to hold yourself through this process of change. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Lots of walks in the woods, lots of prayers to the Great Spirit, lots
Yeah.
of hugs from my spouse,
Yes.
and support from my community as I go through the challenge with you, Jeff, on no complaining for 30
Yes.
days, the rest of March. You
Yes. So
gotta
yeah,
win
so
the
it's
first 7 days.
the rest of March. So it's the whole idea that you just basically described is where you recognize and then stop and then replace. And our brains can do that, but we've gotten so used to not recognizing and just letting our brains go. So you replace with the walk in the woods, you replace with the time with your spouse, and that's where this becomes such a positive thing. It's like it's a complaining fast and a positivity feast.
Well,
We're changing.
let's do another live broadcast on this near the end of March, and just check back and see how to go. How did
Yeah,
that whole month go, and what were the observations and things that we learned? Want to
yeah,
do that?
and as you guys are listening, write your questions or your thoughts, or just say, I'm in. You can go and officially become part of it over at the Habits of Hope Facebook page. And you just go on there and make a commitment and you say, I'm in. You can
I'm
just
in.
post it there. And basically the commitment itself, brings positive momentum. You'll notice. And you might not like the first few days, but I can tell you if you stay with it, you'll find your brain starting to notice and replace, and it's going to be a lot better March.
Awesome. Well, thank you for inviting. Thank you for initiating this wonderful program, this opportunity for all of us to cultivate awareness and practice, not complaining and being grateful, and suspending judgment until we can see where things truly are landing.
You got it. Yeah, and thanks, Kerri, for having me go live with you on Facebook. Facebook Live is so much fun.
It
I feel like it's this new toy
it
that we
is
can
a toy.
communicate with cool people, connect with each other, and so I'm really grateful that you initiated this idea.
Absolutely. And we'll schedule another one, people. We'll come back on near the end of the month and join us on that one too, and share with us your experience. Share with us how it was for you, and any questions and concerns that you had going through the process that we might be able to help you out with.
Yeah.
Tune back in. We'll schedule something. We'll put it up on the Skills Not Pills page, and we'll copy Habits of Hope, so you'll know we're checking in, and you'll be able to tune in and let us know how it's going.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a big fan of the Skills Not Pills Summit. So know that if you're not yet registered for that, I don't know, you can tell us how to do it. But what an amazing idea, and I believe a movement where you're helping people realize they can do things that bring life to them, even more than the life they get from a pill, whether that be a prescription pill or certainly, a pill that's not prescription.
Yeah, the pill mentality. We were talking a lot about the pill mentality on these broadcasts. And, like, I'm just going to set it and forget it. And it's like, no, it's way more fun to be engaged in the game. And that's what we're doing with this
Yes,
challenge.
we're making it a game. We're having fun. We'll share
It's a
our love
fun thing.
plans. I
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
Awareness is good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, if you want to sign up for the Skills Not Pills movement, you can go to skillsnotpillsmovement.com. You'll start getting emails. It's May 1st through 30th, and you'll get an email a day with one of our expert interviews. And in the meantime, just tune into the Skills Not Pills page, and you'll get all these kinds of fun interviews like we're doing right here. We're getting all this fun stuff. So, yeah,
Love it. All
go
right.
ahead
Well,
and
thank
share.
you, Kerri Hummingbird.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody.